Sarah spends the first 48 hours after the voicemail moving through her life like a ghost. She goes through the motions at her coffee shop, smiling at customers while feeling completely hollow inside. She replays the voicemail obsessively, hearing her daughter's cold voice telling her she's toxic, manipulative, suffocating. Every maternal instinct screams at her to call back, to fix it, to apologize for whatever she did wrong. But something stops her. Maybe it's exhaustion from 17 years of being taken for granted. Maybe it's the memory of her best friend Michael telling her months ago that she lets everyone walk all over her. Maybe it's just the quiet realization that if she keeps chasing people who push her away, she'll spend her whole life running. She doesn't call. She doesn't text. She doesn't drive to Julius's house where Christiana has been staying. Instead, Sarah opens her laptop and begins the methodical process of removing herself from her daughter's life. She logs into her bank account and cancels the automatic monthly transfer for Christiana's car insurance, $187 a month she's been paying without ever being thanked. She cancels the automatic college fund contribution. She emails the college's financial aid office requesting her name be removed as the payer on file for Christiana's early enrollment program tuition. Each click feels like cutting a cord. Each canceled payment feels like betrayal and liberation in equal measure. Michael finds her in the back office at closing time, staring blankly at spreadsheets. "You look like someone died," he says gently, pulling up a chair. Sarah's hands shake as she shows him her phone. The voicemail. Michael's face darkens as he listens. "What are you going to do?" he asks quietly. "Nothing," Sarah says. "Absolutely nothing. She asked me to be gone. So I'm gone." Michael studies her face, seeing something he's never seen before, a hardness, a resolve. "You sure about this?" Sarah nods slowly. "I've spent 17 years being her safety net. Maybe it's time she learns what it feels like to fall." 3 days after the voicemail, Christiana wakes up to an email from Portland Community College's financial office. Subject line, "Urgent, payment required to maintain enrollment." She reads it twice, not understanding. The tuition was supposed to be handled. Dad said he'd taken care of everything. She forwards it to Julius with a quick "Dad, what's this about?" and goes back to scrolling through her phone. At Julius and Nikki's house, the atmosphere has shifted slightly. The first few days after Christiana moved in were like a honeymoon, Nikki making her favorite meals, Julius taking her side in every conversation about Sarah, both of them painting a picture of how much better life would be without Sarah's controlling presence. But now little tensions are appearing. Nikki makes comments about Christiana leaving dishes in the sink. Julius seems distracted and stressed, snapping at minor things. The house that seemed like freedom is starting to feel smaller. Later that afternoon, Christiana's phone buzzes with a notification from her car insurance app. Policy canceled, payment method declined. Her stomach drops. She tries calling the insurance company, gets transferred twice, and finally learns that the automatic payment failed because the account it was linked to has been closed. "Can you tell me whose account it was?" Christiana asks, though she's starting to feel a cold dread. "The policy was under Sarah Miller's account," the representative says. "Are you able to provide a new payment method?" Christiana hangs up without answering. She sits in her room at Julius's house, staring at her phone. The insurance was Mom's? She'd always thought it was split between her parents, or maybe Dad handled it. Why would Mom cancel it? Then she remembers her own words. "I don't want you in my life anymore." No. That's not what this is. This is Mom being petty, trying to punish her. It's exactly the kind of manipulative behavior Dad and Nikki warned her about. She tries calling Sarah for the first time since leaving the voicemail. It rings 4 times and goes to voicemail. Christiana doesn't leave a message. By day 5, Christiana has called her mother 23 times. Each call goes unanswered. Each voicemail she leaves gets progressively more panicked and less angry. First message, Mom, it's me. Can you call me back? There's some stuff with the college that I need to talk about. 10th message, Mom, this isn't funny anymore. The insurance thing, the tuition thing, I know you're mad, but we need to talk about this. Please call me. 23rd message, Mom, I'm sorry, okay? I was upset when I left that message. I didn't mean all of it. Please just call me back so we can fix this. Sarah listens to none of them. She sees Christiana's name light up her screen and puts the phone face down, returning to inventory counts and supplier orders. The hardest part isn't ignoring the calls, it's ignoring the part of herself that's screaming to answer, to make everything okay, to be the mother she's always been. Michael watches her struggle. You know she's calling, he says during a slow afternoon at the shop. I know. You going to answer? Not yet. What are you waiting for? Sarah is quiet for a long moment. For her to understand what she actually lost. Not just the money, Michael. For her to realize that I wasn't the villain in her story. I was the whole damn story. Another email from 3 months ago. Julius to Nikki, told C that Sarah said she was exhausting to deal with. She bought it. Kid's so desperate for validation she'll believe anything. Christiana's hands are shaking so badly she almost drops the papers. Validation. That's what they'd called it. When Nikki told her she was so much more mature than Sarah gave her credit for. When Julius said he always knew she was special, unlike Sarah, who never appreciated her. It was all lies. Calculated, deliberate lies designed to turn her against her mother so Julius could keep receiving Sarah's money without Sarah's scrutiny. She pulls out her phone, staring at the call log. 68 calls to Mom now. 68 unanswered calls. This time when she calls, she doesn't even wait for the beep. Mom, I found it. I found everything. The bank statements, the college fund, the emails. Please, please call me back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, Mom, I need you. Please. Her voice breaks on the last word. She ends the call and sits on the floor of Julius's office, surrounded by the evidence of her own stupidity. The calls become constant. Christiana calls from the moment she wakes up until she falls asleep. She leaves voicemails that turn from apologies to begging to incoherent sobbing. She texts every hour. She emails. She messages Sarah's business Facebook page. By day 14, she's made 146 calls. Not a single one answered. Christiana camps outside Sarah's house one evening, sitting on the front steps for 3 hours. Sarah's car never shows up. Later, Christiana realizes her mother probably saw her from the security camera and stayed away deliberately. She tries showing up at the coffee shop, but Michael intercepts her at the door. She's not ready to see you yet, he says, not unkindly. Please, Christiana begs. Please just let me explain. I know what they did. I know I was wrong. Please. Michael's expression softens slightly, but he shakes his head. This isn't my call, kid. Your mom needs time. You asked her to stay gone. She's giving you what you asked for. I didn't mean it. Christiana's voice cracks. I didn't know. They lied to me about everything. Yeah, Michael says quietly. They did. And you believed them. You believed them over the person who's been showing up for you your entire life. That's what your mom is dealing with right now. So give her time. Christiana tries going back to Julius's house, but the tension there is unbearable. Julius knows she found the documents, she confronted him, and he offered weak excuses before getting angry and accusing her of snooping. Nikki barely speaks to her now, the fake sweetness completely gone. Christiana feels completely alone. She's lost her mother through her own actions, and she's stuck in a house with people who clearly never cared about her at all. She starts sleeping in her car in parking lots, unable to face either location. On day 16, she has a panic attack in the school parking lot. Michael finds Christiana hyperventilating between two cars, phone clutched in her hand, tears streaming down her face. He recognizes her immediately. Sarah keeps a framed picture of Christiana on her desk at the shop, though she's turned it face down recently. Hey, he says gently, crouching down beside her. Christiana, right? I'm Michael. I work with your mom. Christiana can barely breathe. She won't answer. I've called so many times. I know, Michael says. Come on. Let's get you somewhere you can breathe properly. He drives her to the coffee shop after hours. Sarah's car is in the back lot. Michael leads Christiana inside through the back door and settles her in the office with water and tissues. Stay here, he tells her. I need to talk to your mom first. He finds Sarah in the storage room, doing an unnecessary inventory count for the third time that week. She looks up when he enters, and her face immediately tenses when she sees his expression. She's here, Michael says simply. Sarah's face goes pale. Where? In your office. She had a panic attack in a parking lot. Sarah, she's a mess. She's been sleeping in her car. And before you ask, yes, she figured out what Julius did. She found the bank statements. Sarah closes her eyes, gripping the edge of the metal shelving. Her hands are shaking. I can't. I'm not ready. Yeah, you are, Michael says firmly but kindly. You've been ready for days. You've just been waiting for the right moment. This is it. Your kid needs you. But more importantly, you need to say what you need to say to her. Not as her safety net. As someone who got hurt badly and deserves to be heard, BBBBB. Sarah takes several deep breaths. Her first instinct is still to rush in and fix everything, to comfort Christiana, to make it all okay. But she stops herself. Michael is right. If she goes back to that pattern now, nothing will have changed. Okay, she says quietly. But Michael, stay close, okay? I'll be right outside the door. Sarah walks into her office and sees her daughter huddled in the chair across from her desk, face blotchy and red from crying. For a moment, every maternal instinct screams at her to pull Christiana into a hug and tell her everything will be okay. Instead, Sarah closes the door quietly and sits down behind her desk, putting a physical barrier between them. The silence stretches for a long moment. Mom, Christiana starts, voice breaking. Don't, Sarah says firmly. Not yet. I'm going to talk first, and you're going to listen. Can you do that? Christiana nods, fresh tears spilling over. Sarah takes a breath, organizing 17 years of hurt into words. When you left me that voicemail, you called me toxic, manipulative, suffocating. You said you hoped I was gone for good. Her voice is steady, but her hands are clenched tight in her lap. And I gave you exactly what you asked for. I stepped back completely. Do you know why? Christiana shakes her head, unable to speak. Because I've spent your entire life being invisible, Sarah says. I've paid for everything. Handled everything. Shown up for everything. And somehow, I became the villain in your story. Your dad and Nikki convinced you of that because it benefited them. But Christiana, you believed them. You never once asked me for my side. You never once questioned why I was suddenly this controlling monster when I'd never been that before. You just accepted their version and cut me out. I'm sorry, Christiana whispers. I'm so sorry. I found the bank statements. I saw the emails. I know they lied. Of course they lied, Sarah cuts her off, voice harder now. But here's what I need you to understand. It's not just that they lied. It's that their lies were more believable to you than 17 years of me showing up. That's what broke me, Christiana. Not Julius's manipulation. Not Nikki's games. The fact that my own daughter, who I've sacrificed everything for, believed I was toxic rather than considering for 1 second that maybe I was just exhausted. The words land like blows. Christiana is sobbing openly now. Sarah continues, her own eyes wet but her voice unwavering. Do you know how many times I wanted to call you back? Every single day. Every single call. But I didn't, because if I kept being your safety net while you treated me like garbage, I was teaching you that you could do that to people who love you. And I love you too much to teach you that lesson. I know I messed up, Christiana manages. I know I hurt you. Please, Mom, I need you. I don't have anywhere to go. I can't stay with Dad and Nikki. I can't afford anything on my own. Stop, Sarah says sharply. Stop making this about what you need from me. That's exactly the problem. You only came looking for me when the money stopped. When the safety net disappeared. Not because you missed me or realized I was right. Because you needed something. Christiana flinches like she's been slapped, but she can't deny it. Sarah softens slightly, but doesn't retreat from her truth. I am your mother, and I love you more than anything in this world. But love without respect is just taking in disguise. And I'm done being taken from. By your father, by his wife, and yes, by you. What does that mean? Christiana asks, voice small and terrified. Sarah leans forward, finally making direct eye contact. It means if you want me back in your life, it's going to be on completely different terms. No more taking me for granted. No more believing other people's lies about me without asking questions. No more treating me like an ATM machine who exists to fund your life while getting no appreciation. We build something new, or we don't build anything at all. Christiana nods frantically. Yes. Anything. I'll do anything, Mom. Please. Then here's what happens, Sarah says, pulling out a notebook and pen with the same methodical energy she uses for business planning. You move back home. You get a part-time job and contribute to household expenses. You pay your own car insurance going forward. The college fund will reopen, but you'll see every statement, understand where every dollar comes from, and be responsible for part of your tuition through work, study, or loans. You'll go to family therapy with me. And most importantly, your father gets cut off completely from my money. No more transfers. No more bailouts. If he can't support himself, that's his problem, not ours. Okay, Christiana says immediately. Yes. All of it. Sarah studies her daughter's face, looking for signs of the manipulative teenager who left that voicemail. Instead, she sees a scared kid who just learned a brutal lesson about trust and consequences. Last thing, Sarah says quietly. I need you to understand something, Christiana. I forgive you for what you said in that voicemail. I even understand why you believed them. But trust? Trust takes time to rebuild. I'm not going to pretend everything is fine immediately. You're going to have to prove, through sustained action over months, that you actually value me. That you see me. Can you handle that? Yes, Christiana says, voice rough from crying. I can handle that. I promise, Mom. I'm going to prove it to you. For the first time since Christiana walked in, Sarah allows herself a small, sad smile. Okay then. Let's go home. 3 months later, Sarah stands in her kitchen making dinner while Christiana sets the table. It's a Thursday night routine they've developed. Christiana gets off her shift at the bookstore at 6, and they cook together. No phones at the table. No avoiding hard conversations. The changes have been real and measurable. Christiana transferred her paycheck to Sarah last week with a note for groceries and utilities. It was only $380, but Sarah cried when she saw it, not because she needed the money but because her daughter finally understood the principle. They'd had their 4th family therapy session yesterday. The therapist had asked Christiana to articulate what she'd learned. That I was taught to value what people gave me more than who they were, Christiana had said slowly. And that my mom gave me everything, but I never saw her. I just saw the stuff. Sarah had gripped the armrest of her chair, letting her daughter's words wash over her. Now, as they eat spaghetti across from each other, Christiana brings up something that's been weighing on her. Dad texted me again today, asking if I'd talk to you about working things out financially. Sarah raises an eyebrow. And? I blocked his number, Christiana says simply. After I told him that you're not a bank, you're a person, and he should be ashamed of how he treated you. And how he used me to do it. Sarah feels something in her chest loosen slightly. This is new. This is growth. How do you feel about that? Sarah asks carefully. Christiana shrugs, but there's pain in her eyes. Sad, I guess. I wanted him to be the dad I thought he was. But he's not. He's just someone who's really good at using people and making them think it's love. I'm still angry at myself for not seeing it sooner. You were 17, Sarah says gently. And he's your father. It's not your fault that you wanted to believe the best about him. But I should have believed the best about you first, Christiana counters. You actually earned it. They're quiet for a moment, the weight of everything that's happened settling between them. It's not comfortable yet. There are still moments when Sarah pulls back emotionally, protecting herself. There are still times when Christiana says something thoughtless and watches her mother's face close off. But they're trying. Both of them are actually trying. Michael asked about you today, Sarah mentions. He wanted to know if you'd be interested in a weekend shift at the shop. Said you've got good customer service energy. Christiana's face lights up. Really? I'd love that. Would it be weird working with you? Probably, Sarah admits. But maybe good weird. We'd be building something together instead of you just receiving from me. I'd like that, Christiana says softly. Then, more carefully, Mom? Thank you for not giving up on me. Even when I gave up on you. Sarah reaches across the table and squeezes her daughter's hand. I didn't not give up on you, Christiana. I gave up on being taken for granted. There's a difference. You're my daughter, and you always will be. But I had to learn how to be your mother without disappearing in the process. Christiana nods, gripping her mother's hand back. I'm going to keep proving it to you. Every day. I promise. I know, Sarah says. And for the first time in months, she actually believes it. Later that night, after Christiana has gone to bed, Sarah sits on her porch with a cup of tea, watching the Portland rain. Her phone is next to her, silent now. No more 146 calls. No more desperate voicemails. Just the occasional good night text from her daughter, who's relearning how to be part of someone's life instead of just taking from it. She thinks about the voicemail that started everything, still saved on her phone. I hope you're gone for good. She'd given Christiana exactly what she asked for, her absence. And in that absence, her daughter had finally learned to see what she'd lost. Sarah doesn't delete the voicemail. She keeps it as a reminder that boundaries aren't cruelty, that stepping back isn't abandonment, and that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone experience the full weight of their choices. The relationship they're building now isn't perfect. It's not the easy, comfortable dynamic they had before, when Sarah did everything and Christiana just existed in the shelter of her mother's sacrifices. This is harder. More honest. More equal. But it's real. And real, Sarah has learned, is worth so much more than easy. She finishes her tea and goes inside, locking the door behind her. Tomorrow she'll go to the shop, review inventory, maybe hire her daughter for weekend shifts. Tomorrow she'll continue building a life where she's valued, not just useful. And tomorrow, Julius's number will still be blocked, his manipulations finally powerless, his access to her resources permanently closed. Because the person who tried to erase her wasn't her daughter. It was the version of herself who believed that love meant giving until there was nothing left. That version is gone for good. And this time, Sarah hopes so too.